Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is November 3rd, and right now we are looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the sun rising across the Pacific Ocean. Check out our next frontal system starting to push in towards Northern California as we speak. Doppler radar picking up a little bit of that precipitation there. And you can see we got some low clouds here across some of the Bay Area up and down the Central Coast right along the coastline, and it is intruded into some of Southern California all the way down through San Diego County here as well. So let's take a look here at a wider view of that infrared satellite imagery. And you can see this is what's going to be coming up here as we go through this upcoming week. We got a more potent frontal system rolling in for Central and Northern California and through the extended forecast, potentially including Southern California. So stay tuned here for those details. Now, if you want a nice, affordable home weather station, no moving parts, no maintenance, instant online data, click on that link down below to save 10% off on one. I have two of these at my house that I test. Highly recommended. So we got a high wind watch up for some areas. So 4 p.m. Tuesday to 10 a.m. Wednesday. Look at these south-southeast winds, 20, 30 miles per hour, gusts to 55. Higher gusts possible over the ridges and coastal headlands. And of course, falling trees, loose objects, things of that nature. Maybe some isolated power outages. Be careful when you are driving. And check out some of these wind gusts here as we go. This is Tuesday evening through Wednesday. Look at San Francisco up to 40, Livermore 40. There's Concord at 40, and even higher across some of the higher elevations in favored locations, potentially up to 50 miles per hour, and even stronger across some of the Sierra Nevada. I'll show you more on that here in a moment. But we've also got a coastal flood advisory. And if we take a look here for some of the Bay Area, Monterey Bay here, we got some high tides coming in here as we go through this upcoming week. The spring tides, otherwise known as the king tides, are going to be quite high. So any wave action is going to exacerbate that. And so that's why they have these coastal flood advisories out. And if I click on that, you can see some of these tides kind of exceeding normal heights out there. And of course, the sneaker wave run-ups can be further than normal because of these high tides as well. Now, Sacramento National Weather Service is showing the wind advisory up towards Redding. There's Chico, Sacramento, Fairfield, Stockton, Modesto are not in that. But some of these southerly winds, 15 to 25, gust 30 to 50, 10 p.m. Tuesday through 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And we have high wind watches across the Sierra Nevada East Slopes. There's Reno right there. And that extends all the way up towards Eureka, California and Northwest California as well. Now, rain forecast. Check out San Francisco, half an inch to an inch on the latest National Weather Service forecast. And there is going to be some snow for the higher terrain. Snow levels starting at 8, lowering to 7 to 7,500 feet, and some pretty good precipitation amounts. Look at Redding. Look at Sims, 4 to 6. Hayfork, 3 to 4 inches. Eureka, 3 to 4 as well. Now, if we look at snow levels, maybe a little bit there for I-80 or so. Again, not a lot there, but just be prepared for some slick driving conditions. This is for Wednesday, November 5th. And moderate to heavy rain. We are in the excessive rainfall outlook. Marginal risk there for the chance of excessive rainfall, which is known as flash flooding. Potential for some thunderstorms here as well. Ponding on roadways. You guys know the deal. Damaging winds also. This is Reno National Weather Service, which does cover portions of California. And again, look at the ridgetop gusts up to 100 miles per hour. It's really crazy. And 70 to 80 miles per hour along wind-prone locations, US 395. Wind gusts 45 miles per hour on Lake Tahoe with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. So do be careful if you plan on, going out on a boat or anything like that, if you're along the shoreline or anything. So heads up for that. Some bumpy flights and turbulence as well. It's pretty typical with these strong mid-latitude cyclones when they roll through. So 500 millibar heights. There is our system right there. That's the one bringing our potent frontal system for Central and Northern California as we go on in through Tuesday night into Wednesday. Then we scroll a little bit further off into the future and we get a deep trough out over the Pacific Ocean. There, big ridge across some of the interior west. But this thing continues to show up in the artificial intelligence as bringing a fairly impactful system into Southern California. It's still way out there in the forecast, but man, it's been locked onto that solution. So we'll continue to watch it. Kind of a 1-2 punch there, in fact, as we go on in through the week to 10-day period. So it's something you'll be wanting to check back on a daily basis here. If you do live across Los Angeles, San Diego, San Bernardino, Ventura County, and anywhere across Southern California, you're going to want to watch this one to see how this trends over the next few days, no doubt. Now, if we take a look at the European model, you can see again that precipitation starting as we go through this evening. It moves down, probably not making it to the Bay Area, but then the stronger storm starts to arrive as we go on in through Tuesday night into Wednesday, and that will bring some rain down towards the Bay Area, Sacramento Valley, Sierra Nevada, and you can see Shasta County getting a decent amount of precipitation, maybe in the Shasta County convergence zone ongoing there as we go through the Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. You can kind of see it hung up there. And some of that getting down towards the Central Coast as we go through Wednesday afternoon. And then we scroll through there off into the extent a little bit more. We got another weak system kind of moving through there. Not so weak, really, for some portions of Northwest California. It's a pretty decently heavy rain, but we'll see how that one trends as well as we go on in through Friday. Now, wind speeds, 100-meter wind speeds. And again, you're looking at the state of California here. Here goes our initial system up into southern Oregon. That's going to bring some gusty winds as we go through the day today. But the stronger winds are going to be arriving as we go on in towards Tuesday. Look at them pick up across the Northwest California coastline there. And as we scroll on in towards Wednesday morning, that's when the winds are probably going to be strongest for the Bay Area, some of the Sacramento Valley, coastal areas as well. And look at these winds really get ramped up across the Sacramento Valley, some of the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada, Cascades, Klamath Range, Siskiyou is going to be windy all the way down through some of the Central Coast. We're going to turn that wind southerly almost all the way down towards Point Conception as we go on in through the day Wednesday. And then we kind of relax things a bit after that. And then maybe again, that weak frontal system sliding by to the north. Now, significant wave heights. And again, since our waves are going to be increasing and we've got the king tides, we could be having some coastal flooding issues over the next few days. So if we scroll on in through here, it's kind of some elevated wave action up and down the coastline there. As we go through today, a little bit of a break there on Tuesday, and we start to scoff in towards Wednesday. You see the waves start to get big again, start to push down towards the Bay Area as we go through Wednesday morning, that frontal system arriving, and then those waves kind of continue to increase in size as we go through Thursday. And Thursday, pretty elevated tide activity along the coastline, and combined with some of these big waves, again, going to be problematic for some coastal communities with some of that flooding. Some beach erosion will be possible with that. Now, if we take a look at temperature, so this is for today, Monday, November 3rd. We go to tomorrow, still not too bad, but we definitely cool down by Wednesday. Look at that drop between today, Tuesday, and Wednesday, only getting up into maybe towards 60 degrees for some of the Sacramento Valley there. Of course, much chillier across some of the higher terrain. Then we go Thursday, we bounce back a little bit there, but we scoff into the extended. And you can see even the National Blended Models has that cool down coming as we go towards the mid-November period, as we get a bit more active, potentially even down towards Southern California. So total precipitation in inches. There goes today's system. And then we really bring in the heavier precipitation amounts as we go on in towards Tuesday night into Wednesday. I mean, look at Southwest Oregon, Northwest California, some of the coastal areas up over 4 inches, and up towards Shasta County, some big amounts as well. And even some of the Sacramento Valley getting in on some of that, and some decent amounts for the Bay Area. But you can kind of see the cutoff there. We're not bringing precipitation down towards Los Angeles or San Diego or anything, at least this round. But if we scroll further off into the extended, you can see how it starts to include Southern California. Look at those totals start to pile up as we go on into the mid portion of November. Fingers crossed for storm watchers there across Southern California. Now, what would that look like here on the artificial intelligence? We're looking at 6-hour precipitation, mean sea level pressure. There goes our potent frontal system as we go through Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe one more weak one pushing by north. And then we dig that deep trough and we kind of look off into the future fantasy forecast. You can see the precipitation trying to come down towards Southern California. That's still, just over a week out. So you really got to watch that day-to-day check back to see if the models change. But then again, kind of a 1-2 punch as another system moves across Southern California through the extended. But again, no promises just yet. Accumulated snow, a positive snow depth change in inches. We'll scroll through and we'll see when this starts. So if we scroll through the day on Wednesday, there we go. You can see it start to pile up a bit there. So a few inches of snow. We're not looking at huge amounts. And I don't cherry pick the snow stuff here. This is just what's expected to stick on the surfaces. You can go and do things like 10-to-1 snow ratio, and it kind of shows up as a little bit more precipitation in the form of snow, or Kuchera ratio. But if you look at positive snow depth change in inches, probably gives you a little bit more honest representation of what is actually sticking on the ground. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, kind of above normal look here through the next 6 to 10 days there. And you see it starting to creep down into Central California as we go towards the mid portion. Again, we'll worry about that later. I'm waiting to put an update here out on Patreon. Check out that page if you like. Otherwise, hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.